Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men, women, children, sisters, brothers. No, I'm just playing. We're gonna have Mr. Warlord SG. I'm gonna go ahead and stream it now. Mr. Warlord SG break down some of the draft tournament that we just did the other day in May. We're gonna take this Discord pin right here. YouTube. I'm gonna put YouTube pinned, and we're gonna go over which games do we have, Warlord. Let me see if I can hear you as well.
Oh, there we go. We have a oddball live fire from Tony, I believe.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, we'll check it out. I don't know all the people in this lobby. I know like Chills and Amplify.
Oh, look, Chills.
Mhm.
There you go, Chills. Welcome, Chills. There you go.
And
Yep.
who else? A big. How do you say that name?
Bigaboo.
Big Baloo.
Yeah, I recognize that as well. So we'll take it. All right, cool. So yeah, just if anyone has any questions, like don't be scared to interrupt me or whatever. I don't mind. We can kind of like talk about stuff. It's not gonna be like super boring. Like I go on like long tangents, so feel free to interrupt me if I if you have any questions about anything. But yeah, I mean I'll just try like watch it through. It might take a minute to like get the audio like just right.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll figure out. And if the quality is not great, then just let me know. Maybe I can like refresh the stream and stuff like that. So. But we'll give it a shot and see how it feels. And yeah, and you can like type your questions, or you can just like say them. I don't really care.
So, so you don't have to worry about getting tools on your team and matchmaking and having him lose you the game. So just join the Clutch Academy instead. You're gonna get vibey people, gonna meet some new friends.
Starts are kind of like
it's just a good.
I'll turn it down a little bit. But yeah, starts are kind of like whatever. To be honest, they're not really like a big deal. It's just like the only thing I'd just say is like a quick note for like starts on this map is just make sure when you're playing oddball you have a starting strat that is quite aggressive, like through the middle and around cuts, because that's like the kind of quickest way to access the oddball. Like when you're playing like Strongholds of Hill, you want to have like a real like B heavy starting strat, but when you're playing more like Slayer and oddball, you're gonna be playing more like a kind of cuts and like middle heavy starting strat, right? But besides that, it's like you can make little tweaks and iterations like on that, but as long as that's like your baseline of thinking, like whatever you do is gonna be like okay, it's not gonna be like a big mistake or anything like that. Just want to make sure you're scrapping for all the guns. 3 dead. And then yeah, just try to bring this back to the tower, bait the camo. Tags.
Hey, again, that's why you check out the Clutch Academy Discord. And
dead. Okay, still 2 dead. 3v2. Last guy. Yeah, this is always like this. The games are kind of scrappy, so it'll kind of like it'll go back. I think here it's not like any huge mistakes really with this snipe, but I think especially at this point, like if you have like good kill feed awareness, you like they're 3 dead, and then like he goes here, and then he doesn't get shot. And I would imagine this guy's getting commed because like everyone died. It's like he kind of chases this guy pretty hard. Where like if he like because he chases this guy, like so he goes cuts. What he might do is he might open up the spawn kind of like they're called like nest boxes, where the enemy might start spawning there. So like, but if he doesn't chase this guy, then he probably spawns the enemy in A, which is like really far away from the ball, right? So like that's like something to think a little bit about here. Is like kind of chasing this guy might like mess the spawns up a little bit, and So you can see there, right? Like this guy, this like Chills guy gets like that exact spawn. So it's just like little, so it's just stuff you kind of got to think about a little bit, like when you're like last guy or like whatever, and like whenever a lot of people, you just think about spawns like a little bit more and more depending on how like many people are dead, or like it like influences like your decision making, right? So like the issue now is like even though he's going to like get these slays, they're pointless because these guys are going to be getting dice spawns. Or like whole nest boxes spawns, and if I'm Chills and I get this spawn at like nest boxes, then I'm thinking like, oh shit, like I got this spawn, this probably means, what's the furthest away position from my spawn, right? It means that the enemies are probably all around overshield, which they are. So like he knows like, okay, I got this spawn, I can probably bomb it into C like pretty aggressive, So it's just like little small things like this, like in a higher level, it's all about like denying space to the enemy, like, just trying to give him a real like tough time, So yeah, I mean you can see here like they kind of give the enemy the gold spawns here, so it's kind of like a little mistake. And it's like one of those, like even though he's got like some nice kills, I mean they're definitely not doing the worst in the team. It's like not garbagey kills, but it's like definitely could have had a little bit better like kill prioritization, I suppose, And it's like the same thing here. So like this is like really good, but it's like the second he gets this kill, he should just be like, I want to get the hell away from here, like and just like start pressuring the new spawns, right? Like if I was this guy, like the second I get the triple, I'd see this guy here, and I'm like, okay, the enemy is probably spawning like dummies, right? So like you want to be getting aggressive on dummies because like dummies is like one of the best spawns you can possibly get, right? When the ball's down bottom middle. Like if anything, you want to be spawning the enemy where like this teammate is, right? So like like instantly, he should just be like bombing across top middle, just like absolutely like flying at dummies, you know? Because like now he's kind of getting stuck at green, and now they're going to be getting like decent spawns where like they should be able to make like a reasonable push on the old ball, but his teammates do a really nice job bringing it out. And he should have been trying to bring it to green just because that's where his teammates were. And he doesn't have any team like, you know, so like holding the ball in A is definitely like a small mistake. Because, you know, I mean, holding the ball in A, like, it's very, like, it gets definitely really overdone in, like, the kind of low on lobbies. But it's one of those, like, sure, you can get a little bit of time, but, like, you always just end up kind of trading the ball, and, like, both teams get a lot of time. But it does look like they make a nice rotate now, which is good. And, yeah, so, like, what they're going to want to do is kind of have, like, a sub where they kind of have, like, maybe one guy here, like, you know, ball guy in green, one guy, like, big door, and then, like, one guy, like, all the way deep back in A. That's kind of like your A-B, like, off-ball setup, I suppose, you know? So it's important for, like, you know, the guy furthest up not to get too sucked in. And I think this is like a mistake you'll see a lot in like lower lobbies, is people kind of overstack sandbags. And generally, like, sandbags isn't the best spot, right? Because it's not like a wide angle. So like the issue with sandbags, sure, you can see a lot of shit, but you can get shot by a lot of shit. So it kind of sucks. Like ideally, you want people kind of like, you know, like playing those wide angles, like kind of playing like back A, like on the boxes, and like big door on the boxes and stuff like that. So being like, so, yeah, being sandbags is like, it's just usually a position where like you're gonna lose the damage fights, right?
Grab the ball,
So like, yeah, you see here, it's like you kind of go here and you like end up tanking damage and you have to run away. And now it's like, especially against really good teams, it's like they'll punish you for this, you know, like kind of like losing damage this easy. So I just something to think about when you kind of look at that AB setup in general, like not just Rob Ball. It's definitely very overdone by a lot of like kind of those mid to low Onyx players is kind of holding
and
sandbags.
he doesn't want to anytime soon.
It's all good if you hit the clutch repulses.
Repulsor combination. That was a little bit more difficult to connect on, but Bigabaloo, as long as
And then this is all really good as well. So like obviously he gets like a really nice kill. I think here, to be honest, there's like a couple of, I think his movement would have been better is if he like, as he jumped on here, obviously, you know, maybe you don't have like goat reaction time, but like, regardless if you see this guy or not, it's like if he would have like walked off this ledge to the right and crouched, he would have like done like a almost like a fast drop, which would have, might have like messed the guy's aim up a little bit. But like when you like go, like when you like just drop, it's like, you know, he doesn't really have any, he didn't really have any chance of living, right? So I reckon it's like one of those, just try to get as much damage on that guy as possible, right? Because if he got a bit more damage on that guy, then maybe this guy would have cleaned him, you know? So I would have just tried to like maximize damage, I think.
brute variety.
And now I feel this guy, I like what this guy's doing, he's like kind of looking to see his teammate spawns. This is something you don't really see enough. It's like, you know, people usually are too fixated on what the enemy could be, but like this guy's doing a good job of looking around, seeing where his teammate spawns, because his teammate spawns will give him really good info, right? Like, to the other team, that's it. So they use really good job. They use their numbers really well, which is what you want to do. So like generally, when you're on the back foot, you kind of want to play like a lot more like tighter together. Like, you know, like you'll see a lot like pro teams, right? Or like spawn C on streets and just like 4 hit up like driveway into B, right? So like when you're really bad on the back foot, like all spawning together, you want to play close, right? And then kind of what they're doing now, maybe a little bit too early, but like the premise is okay. Is like once you start getting kills, then you kind of start spreading out the angles, right? Kind of doing like these like 2-1-1 splits or like 3-1 splits and stuff. So, but at least like these two are sticking together, which is good. But you know, not like the cleanest push, but it probably work. And this guy should probably just be going for camo, and then the other guy gets the ball. Kind of slows stuff down a little bit, but it's not a big deal. If he's one of the worst players, I guess, on the team that get the ball.
Camo is up. Both teams have to fight for it. Looks like Shadow goes down.
So at this point, like once you start seeing all your teammates dying at this point, I'm just like, I'm out of here. Like I'm just like throwing the ball like towards like this way and just like reslaying, because it's like your team like needs help at this point. So like, you know, just trying to like trade out as best you can is like is good. And also like a good thing. So like, say if this guy is just like seeing like teammates fighting, if he just like fucking drops the ball and just like slides that turbine, it's like, this is a bit of an advanced concept, but it's not like anything too crazy. Like, so at this point, like you see at this point, one's dead. It's like if he just like flies to help this guy, worst case scenario, he's gonna die, and he's gonna like synchronize his death to his teammates, right? So when they all spawn up, they're all gonna spawn up at the same time. But you see, like here, if he just kind of waits and like doesn't do anything, this guy dies, and then now the other guy charges, and like so everyone's like dying like for 2 or 3 seconds apart from each other. So like if I had to make a prediction, I'd say like this team, the red team in charge is like unless they what they're gonna have to do is rather they have to wait like 10 seconds to make a good push, or they're gonna have to just keep like going in 1 or 2 at a time, right? But if they all kind of would have just fought at the same time to begin with, they would have died at the same time, and they'd be a lot more synchronized, right? But now you can see the like red team or whatever, or eagle team is like really like a lot more cycled and stuff like that.
Wow.
Berserk's not going to be able to grab this ball.
Thankfully they get the squad spawns though, so that's good.
Why you can get right back into the mix. You got to take advantage of the spawns that you get. Make sure that you're.
Good job by this guy kind of milking his life. Ideally, someone should be trying to get to him, but it's worked out pretty good.
Tug of war, and for now it looks like Ricky.
And yeah, so like whenever you have the ball in A, like your main mentality needs to be like, okay, if you ever have the ball in a position where you can't throw it off the map, your mentality is like. You're always thinking, okay, like as the ball guy, you're always paying attention to teammate spawns, just thinking rotate, rotate, rotate. Obviously, you don't rotate into enemies, like don't overdo it, but like always asking yourself where is the space, right? That's like your job. It's like I'm really paying attention to stuff like spawns and stuff like that, and yeah, so it's like one of those like most of the time when you have the ball in A, I'll probably say like 6 to 7 out of 10 times you're gonna go like big door to green, then like maybe like 2 or 3 times you might go this way the guy was going, and then maybe 1 out of 10 times you might go like I don't know, like rat's tunnel to like bottom middle if like say there was a bunch of people green. But yeah, it's definitely like you don't want to be like happy kind of hold. You're never like happy holding the ball in A. That's like the main like mentality you want to have.
Don't peek.
You cannot peek for even a second. You can tell Shadow was very much ready for that, and Shadow, the last round pick, popping off again. I feel like some players just once they end up
this is okay. It's a bit slow though. Again, it's like it's just like everyone's can't really never shows up at the same time. Obviously he's weak here, but it's like if he would have just got his shields, like jumped up on there, like slid to screens, like jumped up screens to sand, he could have got like a lot more involved in the fight a little bit quicker. But
they evolve into
big deal.
Being
it's one of those like
Can he hit the miraculous nose?
Yeah, it was just a little bit slow, but it's not a big deal. It's fine.
Enough time to make Berserk have to think about grabbing this oddball. The next set of spawners already on their way. Yambo.
Yeah, it's very chaotic right now. That's usually what happens when the ball's in A. It's like you just kind of want to get out of there as quick as you can.
Zombies. The enemies they just never stop coming. They're just flying at them nonstop. It feels like there's 8 players on the red team, and Berserk just don't have a chance to find their footing.
Oh my God, Big Blue with another no scope, and Eli, you're exactly right.
Bro, this is the most scrappy shit I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's scrappy as hell. This is good though. It's nice playing switch. Get that ball out of there. Get it to green. Thank God. This is like a small mistake. It's not a big deal, but so I think these two probably made a bit of a shitty play. So like, if you I think what they should do is like use like him as a distraction. So like Chills went this way. If Chills would have went maybe nest and then this guy followed him nest, they might be able to like deny the B rotate. Because like this is okay, but like if they like push down and say like kill like a random guy in A, it's not really like a very important kill, right? And maybe we could have like cut off the rotate. And this is like quite bad because like these two need to get like it's just the classic like I've said this a billion times in coachings, and it's just like it sounds really like obvious, but it just like doesn't happen at like even like a pretty high level. It's like as I said, it's like when shit goes good, you start spreading out the angles, right? But like once you see Amplify dead in A, like your mentality just needs to instantly be like, all right, like we gotta like play together so we can like trade out effectively, right? So like this guy's like this guy's mentality just needs to be like, I'm gonna hold the Chill's hand here, and just like like if this is me, I don't even care about these guys. I'm like, oh, he's going crazy, I'm gonna like hit the slide and just like follow him, Because the worst thing you can do now, especially when you're this cycled as well, is like die. So like now Chills died, then this guy dies like 2 seconds after, so like everyone's like really cycled and stuff and not getting traded out.
Is that part of what's making it so scrappy as well, that everyone's dying like?
Yeah.
Everybody's dying staggered, yeah.
Yeah, literally. It's one of those where it's like it's a combination of people not waiting for each other, but it's always like that's like what the most easy thing to identify, but it's also a combination of people not kind of throwing themselves at a teammate, like being a bit more direct to help them, right? So like you saw it earlier with like the guy in like the small window, like like a lot of players would play it how he played it, right? It's kind of sit in the window, like have a look, and like I'll see if I can get the kill. Then they don't get the kill, the teammate dies, calls out a one shot. Like now I push, right? And that's like a mistake that happens a lot, where like they kind of try help their teammate, but then the teammate dies, and then they start like one shot, and then like, oh fuck it, I guess I'll try clean them up, and then they die, and then everyone's really cycled, right? But like if the second they saw their teammate like shooting someone, they would just like instantly like G slide in there, like just getting
Hurl
scrappy.
yourself into the 2v1.
Yeah, and just like make sure like you're getting like aggressive on the trades. Like it's like as a team, they're kind of in more of like a consistent rhythm where they're like fighting at like a similar time, right? And then spawning up
Yeah.
at a similar time and like stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, so if you charge in with your teammate when you see him committing, and you both get caught out by 3 or whatever, then at least you're
Yeah.
spawning together after that.
Yeah, exactly. And then the
Right.
game loves like squad spawning, right? But
Yeah,
you know, it's like
yeah.
one of those, like, you know, if you're like 4 or 5 seconds apart, it's like a lose-lose, because rather like you do what they did in the last situation where like 1 or 2 of them, you know, like one goes a couple seconds early, then the next one comes about a couple seconds after, or it's the situation where like okay, we have to now wait like for like 5 or 6 seconds, you know, and just like for each other, right? Which isn't too bad in like a Slayer game type, but you know, in an objective, like that's definitely not ideal, you know. Like
Presumably,
synchronizing deaths is definitely something you want to do a lot more in objective game
Right,
as
yeah.
compared to like a Slayer. I mean, you still want to do it in Slayers, especially the more like tighter map Slayers, I suppose. You know, but like, you know, in this Slayer, I might be a little bit more like, okay, I'm gonna like play my life a little bit harder, and you'll see that if you like watch the event at the weekend, like, you know, the pros generally like play their lives a little bit harder on the Slayers, and then on the objectives they're a little bit more like just kind of like aggressively trying to like to take space on the map and stuff like that as a
Yeah.
team, you know.
Might have the chance
What, sorry, I'm just wondering as well, like, if the staggered spawns thing, like, if you're 2-3 seconds apart, like, end up spawning in random places away from it.
Sometimes that'll happen, but that only usually happens if like the enemy team is doing a good job of like pressuring those spawns.
Right, yeah, I get you.
If
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
really pressuring those spawns, then usually everyone will kind of spawn
It's
together,
just still
right?
up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then it's kind of on like the first and second spawners to try get like a little bit of space, but not like start fighting people. So like they might like, for an example, I always use you know, if you spawn C on like streets, maybe you get up to like red room and just kind of hide, you know, to get your team a little bit of space on the map. But then like, you know, and then your teammates get to you when they spawn, you know. So like you want to like get a little bit of space, but nothing like too crazy, right? You want to like do what the guy did earlier and just like instantly start fighting them into A, right? Like I said, he could have like went nest, got like a tiny bit of space for his team, so they're not as trapped, but then like waited for help and then like push together, you know.
Right, yeah, okay.
At least 10 seconds
Cheers.
of time,
No worries.
if not more, than otherwise they would have had to fight for right now. Instead, the oddball's in their hands.
Yeah, seems like the standard setup here. Nothing too crazy. No
The
shots.
screen side, I saw Bigaboo instantly hit.
And again, just try to pay attention to like teammate spawns. They could maybe give you like rotate options and stuff like that. But you know,
first at the tower. They ultimately
yeah,
goes
just
down,
play
but
at this
they do
point.
get
Just
the
try
spawns
get
on the
damage.
tower, so now
Unlucky.
they're able to push out Big Door a bit more safely as they do have presence here at the nest. And
Yeah,
that
just kind of
was
scrappy
all
here. Like the main
calculated.
thing is when it's
Even though
scrappy
they
like
were
this, if you're ever
tied,
not sure what to do amongst like the chaos of these situations, just avoid. You know, whenever it gets messy, like on an oddball game, you're like, I don't really know where to like put myself on the map. It's going to be a combination of 2 things. One is obviously really close to the objective. So like, you know, if you're like spawning fucking, I don't know, like back A on like streets again, or like here, if you're spawning like C, it's like make sure you're not pushing random guys in like green, or if it was like streets, make sure you're not pushing random guys in B, right, when the ball's down pink. It's like make sure you're slaying around the ball and obviously trying to like force teamwork, like kind of a combination of those like
They
2
created the
things, I suppose,
conditions
you
for
know.
successful push
Right.
coming off spawn.
Then here, like, you know, I don't think this is the best rotate. I think he
And
should
that's
be
why they're
trying to
able
bring
to
it to his
escape with his
teammates. So
oddball.
like, you know,
Great
not the
play
best like
out of
teammate
ultimate
awareness, but it
sacrifice.
doesn't matter because he's clearly got a very good shot. And he gets good help, so it works out okay. And yeah, it's the classic like bringing the ball to A is like okay, right? But it's like, you know, if it like say like he loses that fight, then it's like his team get a couple seconds, the other team gets a couple seconds, and yeah, I'd just say like the meta of this map, it's like been like a little bit too like A heavy, you know, like a lot of people are over rotating the ball into A, not enough like bringing the ball like key door to cuts, right, or bringing it like dummies to cuts, getting a couple scrap seconds, and then like rotating it to like fucking like C or something like that.
Invincible staying alive for a long time. Gets a melee before dying. I don't know if anyone's in
The way
position
you
to
can
clean
play
that
it
up though. Big
eventually.
spawns at the green side, immediately
yeah.
pushes in. Feels like he's been spotted, so he's going to hit a different route. Chills though with this sniper. This could be a huge difference maker. If Chills can start
Yeah, so
popping
like
off
when
here,
it's all
good
like
shot
this
from
and it's
the
like
sniper.
even
This
numbers at like a high level, it's gonna become very like teamworky. It's all about just winning the damage fight, just like, you know, making sure you're, you know, you're not really necessarily like trying to charge kills, right? You're just trying to kind of output more damage than you take as a team, and obviously kind of play quite a bait and switchy like heavy game. It's kind of be like the meta
could be
when it's
a
like
huge
even numbers
difference
like
maker.
this, you know, especially when they have like an oddball guy, you don't want to just like run at them crazy. It's like it's gonna get your damage, like then kind of collapse is like how you'd like kind of play in these kind of situations.
Find Invincible off guard,
Oh,
takes the
oh,
shots
there we
onto
go.
Yambo. Yambo hits the
Oh,
clamp.
nice.
How
Oh my god, special sound effects in the stream. Clutch really pulled out the big bucks for the stream. But yeah, that's been like a pretty good round.
They stuck through and
But yeah, kind of
Invincible
everything I just said
grabbed
really.
the ball
Need
and
to
held it
repeat it,
while
I
his whole
suppose.
team was dead. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, definitely the ball was an a metric ton for sure.
Maybe, man,
Okay,
so
maybe,
much-
Yeah, it was bad, dude.
What an electric finish to round one. You thought Berserk off of that triple kill would have had a chance to
Yeah,
maybe
let's see.
steal the hearts and souls of Ultimate Sacrifice, but I think
Nice,
Shadow
well done.
did earn that final hold, and he's popping off here at the start, has a double kill.
Not about this, because they might get like screen spawns or something and fucking like push Keto sometimes, but it's like something because he's looking pretty hard at that spawn. If his teammates from the left, it should be fine. I know. For me personally, like I just love, especially like here, because he knows his teammates are gonna bring it C. Like I almost like want to like bully my, like I almost want to be like to my teammates. Everyone, get the fuck out of tower. Let me go tower with the snipe kind of thing. But you know, because it's such a good spot. It's like here, it's like I don't know, top mid this sucks because like you know you get shot by this guy and like another guy comes like sand and you're like ah shit, you know. Thankfully, these guys are taking him out too quickly, so he gets a couple kills. But you know, it's one of those like you know, top mid's an okay spot sometimes, but especially when you have like that much ammo with a snipe, I'm just kind of like I'm kind of valuing my life a lot more, right? So the classic, like the stronger you are on the map, the more you kind of like value your life, you know, because like you have more to lose by dying, I suppose.
Right.
But this is the kind of shit that's like really bad, like you really want to avoid, because it's like the set, like it's like you want, it's like. Generally in Halo, like again, this is a very like generalized statement, but like I think you know these kind of things can like be like the little eureka moments for like different people. Like it's like you want to avoid a lot of the time. Like if you watch pros, like or like just generally like pretty decent players, it's like they're generally playing like really slow or like really quick, right? So like it's like here, it's like you know when it was like earlier at the start, like on the the end of the last round, it should have been played like, slow, and then it should have been played really quick, but they forced numbers, right? So it's like the second like all these people die, it's like this guy needs to be like okay, like they're all dying, like what's the furthest away position from my team? Probably like small window on like A. So it's like we're gonna do a combination of trying to get the ball out fast, but like try to beat the enemy to spots, right? So like if I was this guy, I'd want to get the snipe to like dummies before the A guys could get like rat tunnel, right, or something like that. Like just really just trying to like deny map space. And also the other thing is I want to get my like kind of get my like get myself away from green. So like if he gets himself away from green and like the team's kind of pressuring like screens and like you know you have like maybe one guy going for ball, one guy pushing screens, and then what you know he's like sat like dummy door like watching like you know rat tunnel. It's like they might like start split spawn the enemy, which is like really good. He might spawn like you know 2A and 2 green. And then it's going to be really hard for the enemy team to kind of work together to make a good break, right? But he kind of stays here for a lot and stays green. And then like the issue with this is he's going to start spawning them like all along this line in A, right? Because he's pretty close to green, which is like you know when generally speaking the best place to spawn the enemy when the ball's down bottom mid is you know the furthest away position from the ball where you can't see it, which is green, right? So like definitely kind of lingering around here too much. And as you see now, they're getting pretty decent spawns where if they play okay, like they should be able to work some nice like bait and switches and put up a pretty good fight on this ball.
All on
You know,
the line. Oddball got reset, so we're gonna see another brawl. This time bottom center. Got a couple more snipe bullets to work with from Invincible, but
I think how they play it isn't like terrible, but I don't know, it's okay. Like I don't mind like having like you know this many people be this aggressive. I think maybe what would have been like a really cool play is like you know you have like 2 people go cuts with like 1 person kind of going like top middle for damage, and then like if the Ricky guy could have been like the flanker, right? So it's like these 2 are like the bait, like kind of like they're kind of half pushing, half bait. This guy's just going sandbags, just trying to get like a shit ton of damage, and like the other, the 4th spawner just kind of wraps around. I think that would have been like a bit cleaner of a break. Because the issue with like free stacking something like this is like the whole team is just kind of running into pre-aims, right? But it's like they definitely could have like spread out the angles like a tiny bit more. Like obviously like you want to play a little bit close to each other, but like yeah, like here they've kind of like as a team like they've just all run into the same pre-aims, right? So yeah, I think like they definitely could have spread out the angles a little bit more there, but
with it, he's able to do enough damage on that dummy side for Big to run away with the oddball. He's dropping the ball, getting another kill.
And yeah, so like everyone's kind of dying and it's kind of mixy. So like you know all you're thinking about is like it's a combination of reading your spawn to predict where the enemy could be, but it's also like you're just trying to beat the enemy to spots, like when you get certain spawns, right? That's all this stuff kind of really is when it's mixy like this.
Here off the start of round 2, and this is it. Do or die, decisive. Round number
Yeah, it's
2
one of
for
those.
the
They do a lot of
Stars.
changing
Gotta get
POVs,
this
so
one or they send
unfortunately don't get to see people coming off spawn much, but
excuse me, I
definitely a
gotta
very
catch
kind
up
of
with my
important
own brain and my own
factor
thoughts.
when
And do that
it's very
VOD you're
mixy like
talking about
this,
really
just trying to
well.
like
The
evaluate your
walk
spawns
window,
so
if
like you know
if
you
you'll
kind
take a
of
look
are
at
not
that,
just taking
it's actually
unnecessary
really
damage.
smart. You think about Halo Infinite, a game that really prioritizes sprinting and G-sliding and grapple, repulsor, all this movement.
Alright,
tech
so
and
free dead,
equipment.
and they
But when you
block C.
always walk,
Again, I don't mind spawning him green, but like if you're spawning him
but when you
green, this
do
guy has
walk,
to jump up
you always
sandbags. Like
keep
if
your
he's gonna go
rifle
screens, he almost has to jump up sandbags to like shoot the other team in the back, right? And
Yep.
it's like one of those. It's like
equipment.
the second you're here, it's like rather you're gonna like the guy's gonna get the ball. Like for me, there's like only two plays here. It's rather you like you instantly go back, like take the quickest route to help the ball guy, which is like follow him and just go see and like watch his pillars as like a bonus, or you'd like go screens. But when you go screens, you like block because like again, it's like you know, let's say like you have a random teammate who's tower and he's like shooting green. It's like maybe they might start split spawning green and A, but it's like that gets ruled out the second he goes here. So it's like if you are gonna go here, you better make sure like you know the fact that now because what he's doing now is he's gonna be like quad spawning them like green. So it's like if you're quad spawning him green, he could like he could just like kind of play the pillar like top sandbags and play the box and just kind of shoot them all in the back right and kind of put them in a really tough spot.
Where's the line for that spawn? Right here in this area.
So he's
So
yeah, if you're like standing on screens, does it block the spawn?
it would block probably like it probably block pretty much all of A minus like big door.
Yeah,
You
right.
know.
So then you're
Uh,
shooting in the back at that once you jump.
Yeah,
up the
yeah,
screen.
exactly. And
Okay.
like I was saying, if you play quite, you know, like you know, kind of like standing on top of like the pillar, you know, like
Mhm.
on sandbags, and then like, you know, you can kind of make an assessment, right? If you like, you know, if you're like shooting the shell of them, they're not even looking at you, then it's like you might kind of edge a bit forward on top of like the dark box, right? And then you know, the thing about being there is where you can like slide behind them, or you could like slide to top middle to like meet your teammates C and like watch nest, you know. So you have like a lot of options, right? And if they play back for you, then you can just kind of run away and go cuts, which is what he does anyway, right? Because the issue with this is like it's fine, but it's like especially you know maybe catches a bad timing, like you know if the other team like gets into river really quickly and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, those two spawn green. Would it be a good play to split spawn them? Like just like go out green quick and get them to spawn back A?
Yeah, actually, I think that would be a really good play. Actually, going like big door here. The issue with that one is it's a bit more of a trek to like wrap back to your teammates, right?
I was thinking you jump up screens and go to big door before the other two. Jump up screens.
The issue with that is like
And
you're
go bags
probably gonna
before the-
like it's actually like still quite a long route because like imagine hypothetically it's like let's say like the first two spawners get through the river and they're like fighting the ball, right? Like you could maybe like kill the last two spawners because like it would take you a while to do all that, but it's like you're gonna be like almost too disconnected from your team, right? Like the issue with like going screens to like sandbags and then hitting that like G slide in the top middle is like it's like a kind of a selfish flank, but like at least it's kind of like quick, you know, like you're not
Right.
wasting a lot of time. But like going maybe like sand to big door, it just kind of wastes too much time, you know. Where it's like you're
Mhm.
kind of giving the enemy like if they're clever, you're giving the enemy like a good timing where they could maybe force a 4v3 on the ball if they're like you know if they have. And again, like you know this is the kind of thing that pros will notice. They'll like you know, like if I spawn like green facing nest or something like that, I'll be like, okay, that means there's a guy screens, right? You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
But if I spawn like A, I'm like, okay, there's probably nobody like screens. Like they're probably just all in C because I spawned A. You know. So it's like you know,
Mhm.
like really heads up players. Like I said, they'll get those green spawns facing nest, and then I'm like big door facing like nest, and they'll be like, okay, there's probably one guy running around turbine being a bit useless. Let's also like, kind of force our numbers really aggressively onto C. You know, obviously it's not going to get like applied much in like these like Randy like 8s lobbies, right? But like especially like a really high level, like you know obviously people are like very decisive off their spawn. You know, like it's very rare you just see like random like pros spawn up and just like randomly just zoom in and start mapping shit, right? They kind of know where the space is and like what needs to be done quick because there's like limited timings, right? Or like what
Mhm.
you can get.
Walk, but when you do walk,
So it's like you know, if like these guys are just like really
always
quick
keep
off their
your
spawn, they're just like
rifle
hitting
out
into
and
river. Like
ready. I
it
think
could be,
that's
it could have
one of
worked
the
out pretty
reasons
good to like
why
amplify here. Like goes nest, but it's like if this guy follows him, and then like the other guys like kind of following him, but everyone's kind of lingering, not really doing much. Like you know, even though this guy makes a really long flank, he still gets like really good damage. So he ends up making like pretty much the play like dead, but like you know, he could have been quicker with it. And you can see here, like you know, they should win this fight, but ideally he's like left these guys out to dry a tiny bit. But yeah, it's all kind of worked out because like neither team's like making like incredible. Well, like, mainly the other team isn't making like an incredibly like coordinated push. Like if it was like a fast coordinated push, they probably could have got a really good timing. All that.
Mhm.
Pills once again hits the wiggle strafe.
This is good. At least they're trying to. But this is good. I like what I do like about this push compared to some of the other pushes is like generally if you're trying to break the ball setup when the ball's in C, you generally speaking want to try break it from like that kind of nested green side, right? Because like kind of shooting down at people, pushing river to tower one, you rarely get kind of spotted doing that. But when you're pushing OV and dummy side, it's like you just kind of tank a lot of damage and it's really hard to like break, right? So I like stacking the kind of green to nest lane a lot more than I would like stacking like that OV to cut sway.
He has been working so far for Ultimate Sacrifice. This is a great breakthrough for Manny. Not only gets 2 kills, but does more damage to another. Big has to be shut down on the cut side, and he is. It's going to be the recipe for Berserk to potentially hold it, but no! At the last second, Shadow comes in and chucks the oddball off the map in what looked like could have been an easy hold.
Yeah, movement could have been a little tighter. It's just like, I don't mind the slide to be fair. It's not too bad actually, I suppose.
Could have been an easy hold for Berserk, and Shadow once again ices up. He got the last seconds to close out the first round, and then now chucks the ball.
So like these are so this is like what I'm talking about. Like for me, this is like the kind of perfect situation where like you see this guy here, right? But like here's what I'm thinking, like based off like everything that's happened. So like you've just kind of died. If I had to like guess where the enemy were, like if I was this guy, I'll be thinking like they're probably like a mixture of like green and nest, right? So I don't really want to go A because A sucks, and I don't really want to go C because like I've got a teammate spawning here, which kind of like this spawn is kind of hinting that they're going to be nest, right? So for me, this is kind of like the perfect situation to kind of start milking the ball around cuts. Because like as you're milking the ball around cuts, you can use stuff like chills when he comes off spawn. His spawn can give you more information. And stuff like that, right? So these are the kind of situations where instead of just being like, all right, I'm going to bomb it into A, you could like, I mean, here, once Chills does get the A spawn, bringing A is like fine. But it's like you want to be bringing it A with the intention of like A is like the way, like we're going to go A, but then we're going to try go
But
B
then
if
we're
we
gonna
can,
break green, right?
Yeah. So you want to like kind of go, like it's like these guys need to like start leaving small window and start like really trying to like fight around big door, and like everyone needs to fight. So, like,
Yeah, cuts is definitely an
especially now they got the
underrated.
pick.
Cuts is an underrated spot for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And especially here, like I think here in general, like the ball guy should be trying, like everyone should just be a bit more like like trying to like shoot, like even as not the ball guy, I'm like hugging like this guy, like I'm not like in a playing close like this guy. I'm like I'll start like juggling the ball at this point because I'm thinking about that B rotate because like right now it's like one dead, right? So I'm like oh B rotates, like I want to be trying to almost work a bait and switch with this guy on big door whilst I have the ball, right? And then maybe the other two, like this guy could be jumping up like screens to sand. This guy could maybe like he could rather go big door or sand. It doesn't really matter too much. And just really trying to like force your numbers advantage you have here, right? And especially in a second, I'm pretty sure another guy dies in a little bit. So it's like it's like there's 2 dead, right? So imagine if the whole team, so like Chills was jumping sand like this, everyone's just really like aggressively converging on B. They might be able to like force a rotate here, And especially when you're down like this, like you kind of gotta get a bit more ambitious. Like it's kind of like game management, like when you're down, you kind of just gotta like, you kind of gotta clutch up and like pull off some really nice clean rotates where like you're just rotating a ball around a lot and like, playing it. It's like, say if you had like a really heavy lead, like you was up like 80-20, maybe you're just like, fuck it, let's just hold the ball in A, right? Because like the round's kind of nearing an end. But especially when you've only got like this many points, you kind of got to get almost a bit more greedy, right? And just try like make a cut, like obviously nothing crazy, but like plays that are a little bit more high risk, maybe, So yeah, the ball just kind of lingers around here for a while and doesn't really get rotated into big door, so that's kind of the issue. It's just like not really the rotates aren't really like coming in.
It's the 3rd, 4th draft picks, those tertiary players that you don't expect necessarily to pop off. And Shadow, who's not only had
they got the ball now. Fortunate, nice damage though. Not really fault that player there. That was good. And yeah, and you see like the difference between the 2 teams, right? Like this team like brings it B, the other team didn't bring it B, and they're like chase us in B. Now we're probably gonna spawn like dummies, and we're just gonna like fight for the new ball. It's like again, it's like the same thing. Like the second you get these kills, the whole blue team. Here, their mentality needs to be like, okay, let's get as far away from green as possible because we want to open up that green spawn, and we want to block the kind of like river dummy spawn. So these guys need to be flying like at this ball, like literally like bombing these like killing this guy ASAP. They want to split spawn, right? So they want to like maybe like one guy might spawn with this guy, but they don't want to make sure like 3 or 4 people spawn here, right? So they want to get like really aggressive on these guys. It's like instead of going for the ball, it's almost like because again, it's like even if they get the ball, it's like they've kind of got nowhere to go with it because they have to like bring into A and then they're like trapping themselves on kind of that low ground, and then they kind of bring it cuts, which isn't ideal. So it's like here, it's like just kind of get the C kills, then go for the ball afterwards. Kind of like let the force spawner like get the ball, right? You see Amplify goes B, which is great, and then now like the whole team's just gonna get like god spawns on like the red team here.
Now, in this instance, they're going to reset, and they're going to make him fight for it off the start. Berserk, though, find 2 down. Chills with the snipe. And it looks like Berserk will earn that oddball off the reset. And how long can they now hold at the snipe tower?
Yeah, it's not one of those. It happens to everyone. It's just like, you know, when numbers come in, like, look at a lower lobby, it's like, you know, or like a like insane lobby, I suppose. It's like people aren't very decisive on like what spawns they want blocked or what spawns they want opened up, and it's just kind of like whatever, right? People kind of tunnel vision the first guy they see, I suppose, a little bit much. People do it. It's fine.
But chucks it far enough for Yambo to grab it. Chills flying off spawn. It's multiple G slides to shut him down. He said, "Walk meta, screw that. I'm gonna fly in your
nice
face
try. I don't mind it.
instantly." And now, all of a sudden, it is still an all-out brawl by the oddball. This camo is coming up, but I don't think these guys
This is
care
good.
that much about
This-
it. The oddball's
try your
a little
best,
bit
take
more
the
important
camo.
right now, but now, after the
Get used
oddball
to
goes
die
off the map,
ASAP.
the attention shifts to the camo. Shadow picks it up, does.
Is it, the thing is like this seems like so minor, and it might be like arguably a bit nitpicky, but it's like I'm paying attention to all of this. Like one guy's like dead, and it's like, you know, I'm thinking like I want to kill this guy, but like I also don't want to start like charging the shit out of screens too hard because I don't want to like open up, because like basically you got one teammate here, and this guy kind of I can't tell exactly, but it looks like he's kind of like nest, right? So I'm kind of thinking like, okay, if this guy like overcharges green and I start pushing A, maybe the enemies might start spawning C behind me, which is like a disaster, right? So it's like I'm going like kind of super wide here with the intention of the second I kill this guy, it's like if one guy does spawn C, I'm instantly like turning around to like bully the shit out of him, right? You know, like, so again, like I'm not like too worried about this. Like I'll probably be like, oh yeah, like sweet, like this guy spawns here, and yeah, probably like something like this, where it's like, you know, going like dummy door, like shooting just so you can get the ball to like a really good spot, which they do. So that's pretty good here. Now they should have like a little bit of time at least. And this is really actually like, might be a bit of a coincidence, but this is actually pretty good by this guy if he can like live here. Yeah, nice job. And I like, you know, he like, so like what this guy, it might have been on accident, might not have been, but like here he gets kind of a middle of A spawn. Obviously, like, you know, you have comms, but it's like spawning middle of A kind of hints right at all at C. So he kind of knows he can get away with like going to drop down and there being no one on him, right? Because let's say like, you know, the enemy was like really like B heavy, right? You would have just spawned like small door, right? If the enemy was really like OV heavy, like, you know, they were OV and C, then you would have spawned like big door, right? So like spawning here, this kind of hints the shit ton of guys at C, so you don't have to be super concerned about, you know, getting shot in the back. I still think like ideally maybe this guy should like go river to help this guy, and then like let the fourth spawner behind them like maybe pick up this angle. But it's still like good play. Like, you know, I kind of like this kind of stuff.
Stat in the post-game report as to who burned the most power-ups or reset the oddball.
I think going this way is a bit much, especially when you have the teammate to your right and like it kind of looks like you're kind of winning the damage fight here. It's like, you know, one guy's dead, you've already shot a bunch of people. It's like at this point I'd just like link up, and it's been this guy's like shooting shit as well. So like I'd probably just like link up with these two on the right, I think, because I think going this way is a little bit long-winded, and you might block the green spawn sometimes if you catch an unlucky timing. So.
And now with this oddball resetting again, he's going to set up perfectly, milk a little bit of time. He's got to be careful. He has the number. Now with this oddball
I think here, like, yeah, like, what's going on? Wait, so you dead.
Somebody should have called out that amplifier is gonna die, so he could just bring it C.
Yeah, it does seem a bit kind of weird. It's obviously hard to know when it comes to what's happening here. So like, yeah, let me watch this back a bit because this kind of confused me. So it's two dead. I don't know if there's like another guy in C or not. If there's another guy in C, you should just be slaying at this point. Like I wouldn't even like. It's tough. I mean, maybe if you know for a fact Amplify C through comms, then you just bring it like maybe just try bring it to like towards key door, but it's definitely pretty hard. This is a tough situation.
They definitely know he's C for sure now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you know he's C for sure, then like you've got to make the prediction that your teammates maybe might spawn A, but like you're not certain, right? So maybe bring it to like key door or something like that. You know, but like, yeah, if you had the comm that Amplify was in C, then I'd say just, you know, the classic bring the ball the furthest away from the enemy, right, which is like A. But like I said, I think like bringing a key door is kind of nice, like in between.
If his teammate's alive on C and he's grabbing ball bottom mid, what do you think about like kind of like what he did there? If he just juggled the ball to dummies and then help slay the guy at C real quick, and then you like kind of have it at C. Because they won't spawn. They shouldn't spawn at C with like two people fighting there, right? Like both.
It won't, but they might. The issue is with that. It really depends because, like, sometimes that's a good play, but it really just depends how cycled they are, right? So like, if you know for a fact no one's going to be able to help that one guy for like a long ass time, then you just kind of help with the fight. You know, especially when you're playing against good players, like they're pretty good at milking their lives, so they can buy a lot of time. So like what a spawn they will get quite a lot is like say if they're like fighting in C's, the teammates might get the nest boxes spawn, right? And like go
Mhm.
nest. So like that's a pretty good spawn. So like what I might do sometimes, where like if I'm like, I'm not like the enemy team is like their spawns are quite like on the same page, if you will, where like they're kind of spawning at a similarish time. Like you feel like he's gonna get help in like a couple seconds. I'd just like milking the ball kind of round here, right? Like kind of round this wall and like kind of round cuts. Because like the way you gotta think of it is like if you kind of have a read that like the enemy are like pushing like river and nest, your teammates, the logic is that your teammate's going to spawn a combination of close to you and like as far away from the enemy as possible, right? So the good thing about that is like say like the enemy are pushing your teammate at C, you milk ball cuts, and then all of a sudden you see your teammates spawn like fucking like screens, right? Or not, yeah. Then it's like okay, I've got a free rotate, right?
Yeah.
That's what I always kind of say. It's like that's why I kind of like milking the ball around cuts sometimes because it's like it's almost kind of like okay, like I'm just gonna get my bearings for a second, kind of like evaluate the kind of game, and then you
Yeah.
kind of see where your teammates are spawning up, and you can kind of let that know like where to rotate, But yeah, like I guess your answer is like sometimes the play you said is good. I'll probably say it's more of like a kind of 2 or 3 out of 10 times thing, but like most of the time it's like I'm kind of like most of the time you're gonna like tank damage from like the nest guys a lot of the time,
Yeah. Thanks.
Through, but not before
No worries.
Shadow takes the oddball to the dummy ramp, works it back to the snipe tower, and now it's invincible with a reset.
Oh, nice catch.
Oh, it's an interception! Catch there from Manny, and Berserk have life, only down by 10 seconds.
Is that Manny or Eli Manning
Yep,
with
just
the
keep
catch?
milking
I know it's a
here, nothing
quarterback,
crazy.
doesn't really work.
The main thing here is like I'm looking at like I'm this player like I'm obviously want to kind of think about playing the ball, so like might be a bit further back towards the like railing. But like the other thing I'm looking at is like I'm almost trying to get a bit greedy to see where Chill spawns because like a part of me thinks because like like he's seeing people like here and like he might be getting comms. I'm not sure, but he might be getting comms as people coming nest. So like it's the classic like oh maybe like for me it's like Chill's gonna get 1 or 2 spawns. He's either gonna spawn like screens or A. And if he spawns A, it's just a play ball. But if he spawns screens, he might be able to just like throw the ball out dummies and just live, and like let the teammates kind of get to him and like bait it out, I think a rotate might be like a little bit too greedy because he hasn't got like a ton of help.
But
But
I had to stretch for it. But man, what a catch!
yeah, I
Just
don't know. I
keep
think
the ball on the
I think that play was on. If he was so he didn't do either. But it's like I definitely think if he was like so like instead of doing like this so like a lift, if this is me, I'm literally like I'm literally just almost like chilling at the wall at this. Like I'll probably was like staring at like that little camera thing, and then like the second I see that spawn, so I would have been if I would have been like literally on that wall, like I never would have took this damage because I literally would have just someone's mic's broke. Oh, there we go, we're good. So like I would literally would have just been like kind of hugging this wall like here, and then the second someone spawned up, I would have like threw it dummies, right? Once he takes the damage, I think playing the ball is fine. But yeah, like that's the kind of mentality you want to have with the ball. Is like all you're thinking about is like you're almost thinking about teammates way more than you're thinking about the enemies, right? Like you're really trying to pay attention to like those spawns and stuff like that. That's always my thing. I'm holding the ball. I'm almost like teammate spawn, please, please, please. I want to see where to like throw the ball, or like rotate or whatever.
To the dummies and playing the ball. How many times have we been in this? Is this Groundhog's Day?
This is unreal. And this is where earlier we talked about this, Eli. You don't want to desperate for the oddball.
Yeah, so like this is good. That's what I'm talking about. Like this is what they should have done like earlier.
Holding on to the oddball. Berserk looking to gain an advantage here in round number 2. Tie up this crucial.
Nice, there we go.
3-1.
Oh, we got another round. Let's go. I only have time for this one game. Like I said, I do like to talk a lot. So.
What
Oh
an
well.
incredible round 2 that was, and what an incredible defining game 3 this has been. We're tied 1-all. This round will determine who.
So yeah, like I said, I think this team, as a starting strat, being B heavy is like a little bit of a mistake in my opinion. Again, I like this starting strat if you're playing like a hill or like a strongholds, but I think overstacking the B lane is definitely a bit of a mistake on like an oddball. Especially oddball, a little bit on Slayer, but it's not a big deal. Because like this happens, you're giving them too much of like, the ball being bottom middle, just like there being no objective at B and the objective being bottom middle, just like changes everything.
Feels like it could be its own series. This has been unbelievable back and forth action.
And yeah, so like if I'm the red team, I'm thinking like I don't really know where the enemies are, so instead of being like okay, I'm gonna bring it A, I'm gonna bring it C, I'm just like we'll just kind of hold it around cuts. Like when in doubt, like hold it around cuts. And the good thing about holding it around cuts as well, he's kind of doing 2 jobs because he can like milk a couple seconds cuts, and then like when the camo's coming up, he can be like I'll just drop ball play for camo,
They want to find
The issue with like bringing the ball into A is like if you like here is like they're kind of like pushing themselves like too far away from the camera, right? So you can see if their mentality would have been like cuts, it's like they would have been getting way more damage on these like guys on the camo. But their mentality was like, okay, we're gonna bring it A, so they kind of like take all that unnecessary. They like take the classic, take way more damage than they like output and just kind of get like shredded, you know.
Shadow continue to work his way through to green. That was the play. But it looks like a lot of things.
Like yeah, like you want to avoid that kind of shit. Like just don't fucking like. I don't even care about this guy. I'm just like, all I care about is getting to that guy. Like I might shoot, but I'm never like taking a back step. I'm just like forward, get to this guy. So like it's kind of what he's doing, but it's like you know, it's okay.
And that oddball resets in the middle of A. Big Blue looks to work through the garage door, but 3 go down for ultimate sacrifice. Shadow now on the green spawns is going to earn some nest spawns. I would imagine for the rest of ultimate sacrifice.
That's alright.
Shadow breaks through green spawns is going to.
Ideally, he should be like kind of playing a little bit further back. This is like I don't know, this is kind of like a CS concept, I suppose, where it's like when you're like peek shotting like walls like this. Like say if he fought him from like kind of like where my mouse is, like here, and he was like peek shotting this corner. It's like he's like a smaller target in relation to the wall, if that makes sense, right? It's like he should have like peek shot this guy, but like he kind of goes like here, and then he's like a huge target in relation to the walls. Like he could have fought this guy, but if he fought him from way further back and was like kind of tap strafing and crouch strafing, he probably like shits on this guy like really hard. Because he's like really close to the wall, so he just gets that picked really easy.
Don't get the double too. Content with just getting one, sends Chills down to 1 HP. Can the damage get cleaned up on? Big Blue's looking for it. Chills is in a fight with him for it.
I like how he tried to hold his ground. I think here he should just go on the. Oh, never mind. Wow, I would have fucking bailed on that fight, but somehow doesn't get shot. That's nice.
All the while, all this attention has led to and one back to the.
It's kind of crazy. Like again, it's like you know, like you killed 2 at this point. It's like the ball should be trying to like get the ball. Yeah. It's like the thing is, I'm not saying you necessarily need to be like, okay, like I'm gonna go all the way. Like the second you leave the window, you don't need to be like, okay, I'm gonna go green like 100%. So what you might do is like you bring the ball like here, right, and then you get a calm like shit, you know. So let's say like this guy goes big door and the ball guy goes here, and then you like go here and you're like, oh shit, they're spawning mud like a shit ton of them. Then this guy just holds big door, and then this guy could be like, I'm gonna go cuts, you know, cuts back to screens and kind of like do like almost like a circle like loop, you know. So it's like here, so you can bring it here and like, you know, as like your plan B if going big door doesn't work, it's like you're almost bringing the ball into bottom middle to like replay it or like to scrap some time around cuts, you know? So like, it's like one of those that can be like a really good like route here, you know? So like here again, like the ball's just not really getting like rotated. Because it's like one of those, like hypothetically, if they're all not here and they're like the other side, then you could like imagine like they're all like, you know, pushing big door and stand. It's like if the ball's like here right now, they're like, oh shit, you know? So like yeah, just kind of having that mentality of like getting it to that side, and then ideally bring it green. But if you can't, yeah, I think that's been like the thing that's kind of separated the 2 teams. Because that's been quite scrappy. I'll just say like the blue team so far, even though it's pretty close, I think they've looked like a little bit better of a team at just like kind of rotating the ball. Kind of like what's kind of made them look a little bit better, I suppose.
Not enough for anyone to comfortably hold the ball. This has been an all-out brawl on both sides. Now, Ultimate Sacrifice do get those dummy side spawns. They're going to be able to just walk forward, but Berserk could potentially sneak around this push and maybe get a flank.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
Amplify will shut
it's
down.
the same thing. Just about Shadow, just get this fight over and done with. Just fucking try to get some trades. Nice quick kills. That's good.
Shadow with a double. But the grenade from the grave takes him down. What is this game, Eli?
Yeah, they're just kind of cycling. So like this guy here just fights like way too hard. Like this guy needs to like chill for sure. Like right, like if you're this far ahead, rather you wanted to hide in the corner and wait for help, or you go on like a weird like long flank and like time your engagement when everyone shows up. So this guy like fights like way too hard.
Right.
It would have been a really nice play as if they both went like rats together. That would have been like really nice or something like that. It's kind of like literally like sat rats and just like waited for their teammates to call their spawns or something like that. So yeah, just kind of cycling. And like here, like honestly, like. This sounds kind of crazy, but like the second like the blue team gets these kills, like I would just rotate the ball to cuts. Like worst case scenario, they spawn C, but you're gonna be stacked on the camo, right? Because the way you gotta think of it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean this is what it looks like. So you've killed 2, and then unless Amplify doesn't have a mic, he should be calling out there's a guy in green because he just died to a guy there, right? So like it's the classic like process of elimination. Like you know, two dead. Well, I know at minimum 1 guy's in green. Worst case scenario, they're going to spawn river. They're never going to spawn dummies if we push camo. Like we're going to block that spawn for camo, which is like really good. But if you start like tunneling these guys big door, then maybe they start spawning like C plat, which is like a pretty good spawn for the camo, right? So like what I would do if I was these guys, so like Amplify's probably gonna end up spawning close to you guys because he's the fourth spawner. Like it's pretty rare he's gonna split. Like I would just like have like almost like 2 people push like cuts to the camo, like just trying to control cuts for camo. Maybe this guy kind of hangs back like scoreboard or something like that. And then like the fourth spawn Amplify should probably spawn here anyway, so he can like watch the flanks. Or he might even spawn C. So I think like here I'll probably just be trying to like stack the camo, like use it like use my numbers. So yeah, the second Amplify gets this spawn, like if I'm the bull guy, that's like alarm bells, you know. So the
Yeah,
second I
because
Yeah.
the dummies it's clear if he spawns front A, right?
yeah. So it's like the classic, like, you know, again.
Like front
so
screens, I mean.
yeah, it's like the classic, like, you know, when if he spawns A, right, like the middle of A, you're thinking, all right, there's a shit ton of them at C. If he spawns big door, you're like, there's a shit ton of them at camo. So like when he gets this spawn, it's like that's like, oh shit, there's a shit ton of them at big door, you know. It's like again, like the second I see this spawn, I'm literally thinking like rotate, you know.
Right.
Like again, you have to rotate the whole way to C, but at least like get the cuts or something like that, you know. Like I probably like hug the wall around like Kedor and like go cuts or something, you know, just don't get like lasered by sandbags. You know, but again, he just kind of lingers here like for like a couple seconds too long, and he's not really helping with the camo fight. And then like again, there's like, you know, the blue team's playing really good this game. It's just they rotate to like really let them down, you know.
Yeah, and that's kind of on me as captain. You know, like some of these guys don't have the knowledge, and then
yeah,
I didn't make the play call to
The main
rotate it
thing
like that.
yeah. I was just gonna say, like, the main thing, like, you know, if you're playing with players where like the skill gaps are quite wide, it's like just trying to get that like process of like, you know, every time you come off spawn, like you just kind of got to tell them to like I guess a healthy mentality to explain to like slightly worse players is like it's not on the spawners to get to the bull guy, it's on the bull guy to get to the spawners, right?
Right.
You know, so like if they kind of think of that like mentality, then that might like help them a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Witnessed in my entire life. They actually make a solid
Really like the
push.
way you-
Not only that, but Big's gonna grab the sniper now.
Thank you.
Good timing. Now, if he can hit a couple shots like we're used to seeing him with this sniper, could
Good
potentially
job,
hold it,
like
but
here, just like living up,
the
just
rest of the
identifying, like
team's
again, they're down
down.
numbers, so just like
No
live
one's
up, wait for help, and like he's like playing the cover pretty
Otto
well.
will remain being held here in the window. Big still pushing through, no fear at all. Invincible comes off, spawn to help, and he's still alive.
Like yeah, so like here, this guy, yeah, just go, like let's fucking kill this dude. And yeah, he sees teammates are good, so like here they just kind of need to hold like a bit of a C shape, right? Maybe like one guy like kind of tower, like, you know, one guy looks like turbine, like one screens, one A, and just kind of like let the enemy push. Play reactive. So like here again, I think this is maybe like overstacking A is kind of giving the enemy like too much free map space in my opinion, but as you can see, like the issue overstacking A is like the blue team is getting sandbags for free, right? So if they would have had one, you know, like maybe the bull guys milking around. What bull guy stays cuts. One guy stays like one guy goes tower, like one guy screens, one guy A. It's like they have options. But the bull guys cut, so it's like if they overstack A, they can go C. If they overstack C, they can go A. And if they kind of spread out the angles, then like they're still gonna have a decent shot of winning the fight. And you know, if the bull's cuts, you can even pull off like some crazy shit, bring like Kedor bottom mid, fucking to, like pillars to like river, you know, like. So yeah, again, it's like kind of the same thing. Yeah, the enemy team's definitely guilty of this as well, or the red team. It's like they're bringing the ball. It's like they're definitely like not perfect. They're bringing the away like way too much as well. Like, you know, again, they've just kind of like trapped themselves like pretty hard by bringing the ball away here. And if they would have just held it cuts, it would have worked out like way better. Yeah, Quantum's pretty good, I guess, but it's a shame because he's blocking a lot of spawns here.
What can they turn it into?
I'll try to be selective when I'm going for Quantum. I don't know. It's good, but like I don't want to go for it when people are like dead in like objective or ball, especially because it's kind of fun spawns up.
Yeah, it brings you way out of the
Like,
fight.
it's more like something I'll go for when I'm like trying to break, as opposed to like when I'm on the back foot, as opposed to on the front foot, I suppose.
Every one of these fights, Chills gets a double in the feed. It's 3 dead for ultimate sacrifice. This looks like it could be another oddball hold. Invincible just trying to make it
it's forced
difficult
to
for him to
trade.
comfortably grab it. That trade is going to be massive. That means the rest of ultimate sacrifice can push up a bit more comfortably, but the trades just never
Get
end.
this ball
It's
out of
a
here.
nonstop trade
Nope.
outside.
It will never
Yes.
leave.
He's going, finally.
I never want the oddball here,
Keep
but
going,
both
keep going.
teams
Yes.
have held it there, and I love this
Oh,
push by
well.
Big.
Going,
He
keep
said,
going,
"Let's
keep
get this
going."
out of the freaking garage,
Right now,
man. This is
wait. So like
insane."
now, you see at this second, it's like it looks like he's gonna die here. But like if he didn't die, I see what he was trying to do there. Like this all made sense to me. So like he was like trying to get the ball really far away, and then like what he should be doing this whole time is paying attention to like he's like weighing. Because like if he could have just been bought a bit more time. It's like wherever Shadow spawns, he's like what he's gonna do. So obviously, if Shadow was green, then he would have just rotated green. If Shadow like spawns behind him, then he just rotates back the way he came. If he spawns A, he plays the ball, right? So
Yeah,
it's like
should have held it.
I see that's what he was
closer to
trying to
his
do. Like, you know, even though that looked a little newbie, like the fact that he didn't play the ball, I like understand why he was like. Remember, like ages ago, I was saying like, you know, the guy should have been looking at the wall, right? Which like seems to make no sense, but it's like I get what this guy was trying to do. Like he was looking at the wall because he wanted to see where this guy spawned, you know, because that would have gave him like a metric, like shit ton of information that's like really important, you know. It's like I understand it, like even though it's obviously a small mistake, like again, like I said, like instead of being like maybe on that wall, if you're on the camera, like you can quickly like swing, like throw the ball off, like you know. But like I like the idea. It's just like, you know, tiny, like small mistakes being a little bit too central.
Everything here in this game 3, round 3, grand finals appearance on the line is Shadow, the 4th pick, looking like the first pick here in this one. But
Nice job, get time, and again, wherever chills, like what I care about is chill spawn right now. Like this is everything. So like. If he spawns C of you, just set up. If he spawns over, you rotate that way. If he spawns green, you rotate that way. So like you just fucking all you care about is that spawn. So where does he spawn? Where is it? A. So yeah, this is just a buy fuck. So the A spawn was one I didn't cover. So with the A spawn, it's buy as much time as possible. Don't take on like you're just trying to like play that like long range, medium range peak shot, and chills pretty much need to sprint in a straight line at this point. Because if I'm chills, like this spawn means usually one of two things. It usually means there's a shit ton of people in C, or it means they're going to be kind of like green and like OV at like the same time, kind of, you know. So like if I'm chills, I'm literally just fucking like bombing it like as quick as I can to these guys because there's probably a shit ton of people that's about to push them. And it's not the same thing here. So like, Amplify here is like making like a mistake because it's like the way you gotta think of it. If I'm amplifying this situation, like if he sees chills spawn in A. He needs to be thinking, okay, that spawn's telling me that they're rather on both sides. So like if I push to fight this guy, there's a very good chance they could come dummies and shoot me in the back. Or like even if they're not on both sides, it means there's a shit ton of people that are about to be on me from like dummies and like river and shit. So like I think here a lot of the time you might get good timing, but like most of the time in a good lobby, like you're gonna get shredded if you just do this, I think.
So would you hide on that on dice right there and then just?
I would, yeah. So you can see they're gonna go. I would just play really far back, like ridiculously, like back to a wall. You know, so like having people like literally like all you're trying to do is buy time for like chills to get to you, right? So like I would have literally had like one guy like bodyguarding the ball top tower, like a guy kind of on that like elbow area, you know, like kind of playing that like head glitch, watching like OV. And then maybe trying to like, you know, occasionally going river to watch Nest as well. It's like literally playing super far back against the wall just so you can't get like shot from multiple angles at once, right? And just trying to buy time for like chills to like do what he's doing now, right? Because like, the way they position themselves, you can see is like everyone was like, especially Amplify was like way too far up, right? So, but if everyone was just like a bit more like kind of like valuing like not taking as much damage as they did, then it would have worked out like way better in my opinion, you know?
Sacrifice, but somehow 3 are dead instantly. I don't even know what happened. It's like a
yeah,
nuke
bring the
just
ball
went
C,
off
watch
and
Nest.
3
All you can do
players
is
are
watch
dead on
Nest.
Berserk. Invincible dies in the process, but
Yeah, they're getting good spawns. Not really much you can do when they have camo, but
dead before I finish my sentence. But it's a hold at the tower.
It's not too bad.
Once again,
I think
holding the
maybe
oddball and all of
Jules could have been like, oh, the ball's a lost cause like ages ago at this point. But if I was him, I would have just been like thinking, okay, they're probably going to bring the ball C, so like I'm just going to go mud. Because like it's one of those like it's like too risky at this point. It's like sure you might clutch it and kill the ball, but it's like I don't know, like you're probably gonna end up cycling. So like I'll just kind of like let them get the ball. It's weird. If you didn't know they have camo, then I guess this is okay. But like I'd probably be like just because you're so cycled from your teammates, I might like just go river like straight away. But it's okay. I don't mind it. It's unfortunate. Kind of guy went dummies, I guess.
Shadow once again holding the oddball, and all of the members of Berserk are pushing through the back, but Invincible with
All
the
dead.
triple. No, Shadow's
Good
gonna
time.
steal it.
And again, if I'm this team, it's just like I'd just like force them into a corner at this point. So like I'd be like pushing green to block green maybe, and just like forcing them to spawn like small window, you know? Because like what you really want to do is spawn them here, and then hopefully they just like bot auto like flood this lane, and then you just like shred them as they go this way. Like spawning them in that window, like over the small window, is like huge because it's like rather they have to wrap all the way around to B to make the kind of preferred push, which wastes a lot of time, or they go this way really quickly. But the issue with going this way, obviously, is like you're kind of shooting up, so it sucks, right? So like, that's what I'd be trying to do. Is like the red team here is like really trying to force that spawn. So if I'm this guy, I'm like not even like looking at this too hard because I don't want to give them like middle of A spawns. I you know, it's like where do you want to make sure they're spawning on this window, right? So like he goes here, so they spawn a little bit over there, but it's still pretty good.
Got to apply pressure to this.
So yeah, this is way too far out from this guy. Holy shit.
This is
Thankfully he backs
insane.
up.
We're casting in real time, Eli, but you think
So yeah, it's a classic, like, looks like it should work out, but yeah, they wasn't really set up in the best positions to like trap them. That could have been in a stack lobby. They're all gonna get in way better spots, and like that should be game really, to be honest. I think, like, because they were in like the worst position possible, but the red team didn't really have the best positioning to like really like just win the damage fights and shred them.
Oh, and he gets the no-scope as
Nice
well.
shot.
Nice. Let's go. Sound effects and everything.
Did not get reset, and so that snipe, that no-scope from Chills, gives the oddball back to Berserk. They have a 2-second lead. Now it's on them to
Ooh, oh my
potentially
god,
reset,
special
but they have to
effects.
fight instead.
Third person
Oddball and
camera.
Chills.
Wow.
Drop it into the drink, please. Oh my
Oh,
god.
ow.
I need a drink.
Down to bottom middle.
What
Oh
the-
my God.
Run,
This game is almost
run.
over. We've got the epic cinematic performance from Sozer here. He's flying around.
Yeah,
in
so
the
this is
third
better.
person,
Like,
just
see how this
gets
team's
all
like
the
holding it
action,
cuts. When in
Yambo.
doubt, hold it
Trying to
cuts.
find out where
And then
to
here
go.
at this point, you've just got to be like, all right, we're fucking dying at sea. Just bring
Spawning
it like
maybe
Keto or
rotated
something,
towards
right? And
them.
then,
He's
oh, never
gonna
mind, they're winning the fight.
beat the
So, oh my
shit out of
god,
the
it's
wall
crazy.
here. I don't know what that wall did to you, but in the
I like
he's
bringing it
just
cuts because like
getting
even if that
frustration
happens,
out.
it's like
This
the
has been
ball's
an
still in a pretty
insane
good spot.
game. And Shadow has it once
So, yeah,
again.
good stuff.
What's he gonna do with it? He's gonna get taken
Crazy,
down.
it's crazy.
It's a 5-point lead right now for Ultimate Sacrifice.
This is gonna go down as the most slays ever in a.
They may spawn green here.
We're gonna have to count it up at the end.
Oh, never mind. They need a couple seconds. I like playing it like safe like this. This is good.
Ultimate Sacrifice have it. One final
Ah,
push here for
ah,
Berserk.
ah.
97,
Jump off the map.
98,
Yeah.
99, 100.
So clutch. Let's go.
What a game! Holy.
Yeah, that was a crazy ass game. That was a scrap and a half, you know. That was like in UFC terms, like two people like stood in the middle, just like swinging at each other, you know. There was
Yeah.
no, it's like there was no like defense, you know. Everyone was just like it was like a bloodbath.
Shit.
Everyone had one key W.
Yeah,
Almost a
yeah.
60 bomb from Bigabaloo too. It's
Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Alright,
That-
cool. Any questions from anyone before I wrap it up? I guess I did a lot of said a lot of stuff. Hopefully, some of it was helpful. But yeah, if anyone has any questions before I go, just let me know. You can
No,
type,
that
you can
was,
talk or type it. I don't mind.
That was actually really helpful for me. That's probably my worst oddball map, so
Okay.
Yeah. Helpful for
Definitely
me too.
Oh,
definitely understand a lot more.
I did have
Awesome.
a question.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You said like it's more advantageous to rotate from A to B, for instance, to break tower. You think breaking tower through like nest and mud, for instance, is like
That's
better than
the
cuts and dummies?
yeah. So like, what you'd want to do ideally is like, so you see, like, I was gonna use an example towards the end where like, say if like you're really cycled and you're like the first spawner by a mile, you might
Yeah.
just go mud really early and just like wait for your teammates to like get your nest behind you. Like a very common break might be like, it depends. Like you'd rather maybe do like 2 nests. Like like first spawner goes mud, second and third go like nest, and the fourth guy like might get an ace spawn and just like bomb it across top middle to add a different angle or something, right? Or maybe he goes nest as well and helps them, you know. So it usually just like it could literally almost be like 3 nest at one point. Like it could be like like one guy goes river, then like they both go nest. One guy gets like laser to one shots and he drops to help the guy river, and then the full spawner goes like nest to help the other guy nest, right? Like there's no like perfect like exact strategy, but as long as you're kind of keeping like a break like that, you should be pretty good, right? If it's like a hill, like I said, like the guy top middle can be really good in like an oddball situation, that kind of like 2-1-1 split, I suppose, or like that 3-1. So you can kind of cut off rotates against like good teams that actually rotate the ball away from tower.
Yeah.
But especially in these lobbies, like people aren't really making that tower to turbine rotate that much. You can kind of exploitively get away with like just overstacking nest. Like everyone's, in those lobbies a lot of the time, people are just kind of like holding the ball tower and playing it.
Yeah.
But if you start playing against better teams, then you might have to start having like one guy who like cuts mid to like cut off the rotation a little bit more. But yeah, I definitely want to try to break it from that way as much as you can.
Gotcha.
Question for you. You were talking about spawns, like where like you're facing. Is that also applicable for like every map? Because honestly, I've never even noticed that. So now I'm gonna be paying attention.
Yeah, so it's like spawn's one of those things I can write about for hours. There's like a shit ton of nuance to it, but like it's definitely very important to pay attention to it when you're like the first and second spawner, right? Because it really informs you like where the space is, right? So I'll give you like an example. Like let's say you spawn like red pipes on recharge, right? And you're kind of facing towards that kind of like top gold to bat ledge area, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're like facing towards like top gold, it means it's super unlikely there's a guy there, right? like like around like gold steps. It probably means because you're facing towards that way that they're going to be off to your side, so there's probably an enemy on like A cat or top A, right? So like that's the kind of stuff you'll kind of pay attention to kind of help like build a bit of an image, you know?
Definitely.
Like usually what you have to do is you either attack the space in front of you or you play for the kill next to you, right? So if another situation that comes up way more is like, let's say like playing streets and you spawn like like PD facing B, okay?
Yep.
If you get a spawn like that, you need to be thinking like, okay, there's probably a guy cafe, and there's probably a shit ton of space in B. There's probably not a guy in B because I'm actually staring right at it, right? So you can have two decisions a lot of the times. Like the first spawner, it's like rather you wrap back to kill the guy pink, or you try ignore the guy pink. So like you'll fly out of PD with your pre-aims at CAF because you know there's nobody B because of your reticle placement, right?
Yep.
That's a bit like complicated, but like you'd kind of like fly out towards danger, like staring at CAF because the spawn's telling you there's a guy CAF. You're not really scared about taking damage from B. You'd like shoot him and just like bomb it, driveway, hit the pizza jump, you know? So it's like you kind of like it's a very common thing as like, you know, the first or second spawner are gonna kind of get those wide angles, right? So like paying attention to like reticle placement can like really kind of help like know where the space is or like know where the like the first kill is to like focus, you know, as like
Perfect.
a team.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's a whole nother level that I never even thought about.
Yeah, no worries, glad to help. Anything else from anyone? Or
Nope, just that was great. I really like the cuts as a pivot point, and the it's not on the spawners to get the ball guy, it's on the ball guy to get the spawners. There's a few things I took away from it, definitely. It was great.
all right, awesome. Well, glad to help. Yeah, if anyone else has any like follow-up questions they can't think of now, just feel free to message me on Discord. I'll quickly do a shameless plug on my Metafy if anyone wants like any individual coaching, I suppose, because I do that as well. I'll just link that in the little side chat.
Oh yeah, nice one.
Then
1000% I recommend it every time. Warlord got me to
Yeah,
where I'm
yeah,
at least the base level 1740 from like
You
Diamond
platinum?
1 back in like season 3, so he's
you
helped a
take
lot.
that.
Yeah, so
Good times. Good times.
good times. We were
That's
playing.
no, that's
Yeah.
sick close. That much progress.
Yeah, it was only in like one season, like 3 months or something like that. It was a lot, but we played a lot, so I mean,
Yeah,
it was quite
Clutch
a
was
bit.
pretty serious. Clutch was like pretty serious about it, right? Because it's like anything, right? Like any like people trying to learn
like
shit. Like
proper
some people
J
like
level.
take it really serious, and other people just kind of like, you know, they'll like show up to the sessions, but that's about it, right? And then but it's like
Oh
Clutch was
yeah,
like
definitely.
really
Like, I
trying
used to
to
be a
like
guitar
work hard.
teacher, and there's some students that you just be going on that same shit every week.
Yeah,
And like
literally, yeah.
maybe make a minute bit of progress, and there's some that actually you can tell put some effort in outside the lessons, and you can move forward.
Yeah, literally. All right, so yeah, I'll just link that there, and then Clutch, do you wanna? Oh, you already did it. You put the link. So yeah, if you don't donate to Clutch, it affords. I might keep showing up here, you know, and doing more of these. So
Yeah, perfect.
make sure
Yeah.
to do that as well. I do like the server as well. It's pretty cool.
For sure, we have 3 levels. We have like a $3 level, which is simple. I think Pete and a couple of other guys in here give back to the community to make these things happen. So if you're looking at like, I pinned it also in the chat in the what's it called, the Twitch. But inside of the chat in here, if you know how to use the chat, it's that little bubble on the top right of your computer screen. It's the little area that says, if you want to give back to the Clutch Academy, it'll take you to the subscriptions. There's a $3, a $10, and a $20 give back to the community. So there's that one, and then obviously we have Warlord's coaching here on his Metafy, and I'll actually pull that up for people to see too real quick on stream. You can see his followers, the people's reviews. You'll even see my review somewhere in there. Let's see, where are my Nebulas in there? There it is, Clutch Academy. Warlord got me from Diamond 4 player to Onyx 1740 in a matter of 1 season. Super knowledgeable, was worth every penny, right? So things like that, you know. So there's a lot of different levels that he also teaches at. Very affordable, $13, you know, for an hour session of VOD review. If I'm not mistaken, $7 for a short session, $16 for a team session if you have teams, $8 for game time. All that good stuff, and he just played at the London. Think you need to add that to your list of things. Just that you played for teams Bittersweet in London. So that's just to give you a context too. So he's literally a pro, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, please.
I appreciate the gas, Clutch.
Oh yeah, for sure. Please try out a couple of sessions with him. He does give an initial session for free. I think it's like 30 minutes to kind of look at your settings.
I'm like in the free session, I'm happy to like answer any questions people have and like kind of go over like settings and stuff like that. You know, just like get to know people and stuff. So
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so those two things. Again, we have the subscription, and then we also have the Warlords coaching right there. So thank you. But yeah, I think everybody gained quite a bit from that. We're gonna have this on YouTube, so we'll watch it over, make a cool little, what's the word? What's that thing called? Get a little thumbnail for you, and then we'll be good to go. We're probably gonna watch that Sparty thing after this, because apparently Sparty is live on LVT right now.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Interview right now.
Damn, that sounds crazy.
That sounds insane.
All the pros are coming out right now to like say freeze party.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. How much?
Are they?
I'll watch that. What's the lame bed? All right.
Later.
Well, you have a good night. Warlord, thanks to you.
Yeah, you guys have a great night.
Yeah, see you, mate. Cheers.
See ya. Peace, peace.
Perfect. So thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for joining everybody that was here. Hopefully you could see my voice. Yes, you can. We will be posting this up soon. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching as always, and thank you for joining us.